Good evening. This is the August 13th, 2026 meeting of the Lowell License Commission. Secretary Pius, was the meeting posted? Could we please, before we take the roll call, I'd like to welcome Rithy Young as a newest member of the board. He was just appointed by the manager and the city council, and we welcome him for a long tour of duty with the city. Thank you. And now I'd ask Mr. Secretary to please call the roll.
Commission Chair Donahue.
Here.
Commissioner Krieger.
Here.
Commissioner Mercier.
Here.
Commissioner Underwood.
Here.
Commissioner Ong.
Here.
5 present, none absent. First on the agenda is the acceptance of the July 23rd, 2026 minutes.
Move approval.
Move approved by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Ong. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to make it Commissioner Underwood, who was not at the last meeting. Thank you.
Next is application by Salsa in Lowell. Francois Chevalier, owner, for a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for Salsa on the Deck, to be held some Sundays from August 30th to October 18th from 2 to 5 p.m. at the DCR Park located at 262 Merrimack Street.
Good evening, Francois. For the record, your name and address.
My name is Francois Chevalier. I live in North Chelmsford, 33 Fifth Avenue.
Thank you. You want to tell us a little bit about your salsa in Lowell? I remember you've been here before.
Yes, we did it since 2021, 22, 23, 24. We didn't do it last year because Lowell is so active. There were so many things outside or door. I didn't feel to do something. But this year, I'm just going to do August, September, and October. Just three outdoor dancing events where we give 1 hour lesson to people interested in learning salsa, and then we have a 2 hours, couple hours of salsa dance social on the deck, over the Merrimack Canal.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
I'll move approval.
Move approved by Commissioner Mercier, second by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck, Francois.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Application by James McDonald for an additional special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment and to change the approved wines and malt beverages licenses to all alcoholic beverages licenses for the remainder of the 36th season of the Lowell Summer Music Series at Boarding House Park, 40 French Street. The new date is on Sunday, August 30th for the New England Film Orchestra.
Okay. Mr. McDonald, your name and address for the record.
I'm James McDonald. My home address is 46 Arden Road in Watertown. I'm the series director for Lowell Summer Music.
So the alcohol is popular with the music goers?
The beer and wine garden has been successful, so we're expanding our offerings.
Good. And so far, it's everything's worked out well with the security and...
Yeah, problem-free, and we think our patrons really appreciate the opportunity to have a drink before the show.
Good. Any questions from the commissioners? No
Yeah.
questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah, you brought up, and I was interested too, on the decision to go from malt beverages and wine to the larger range of drinks. Do we see other music festivals doing that, or?
I think the difference is that there are more offerings that are served in cans that have, a vodka or a hard alcohol mixed in, although the alcohol per volume is less than, some of the beer we serve. The difference is that, in the beverage itself, there's a vodka rather than a malt, like you'd have in a beer or a hard seltzer.
I'll move approval.
Move approved by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Ong. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good luck.
Great, thank you very much.
Application by Peter Lally, Lowell Memorial Auditorium, for a special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines and a special events permit for amplified outdoor public entertainment for the 2026 Lowell Irish Festival. Event to be held on Saturday, September 12th, 2026, from noon to 10 p.m. at Lowell Memorial Auditorium grounds, 50 East Merrimack Street.
Good evening. Your name and address for the record?
Peter Lally, 47 Bartlett Street in Andover.
Good afternoon. You want to tell us about your next event?
Sure. This will be the, I don't know if we call it the 7th or 8th annual Irish Fest. We skipped one year for COVID, but we've been building the Irish Festival over the last number of years, and it takes place at Lowell Auditorium, but on the grounds of Lowell Auditorium, so both indoors and outdoors. So we have entertainment stages outdoors and bars and so forth, so allows us to take advantage of the full footprint of the auditorium for more of a festival atmosphere.
Any questions from any of the commissioners? Move approved by Commissioner Underwood, second by Commissioner Mercia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Good luck.
Great, thank you very much.
Application by Shinsu Moyo Dwelling House of Hope for a special one-day license for nonprofits to dispense all alcoholic beverages for the Multicultural Festival on Saturday, September 12th, 2026, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at JFK Plaza, 50 Arcan Drive. Mr. Moyo is joining us on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good evening. For the record, your name and
Evening.
address?
Yeah, name is Sherwin Sumoyo, and address is 293 Porter Street, Manchester, New Hampshire.
And you want to tell us a little bit about your event that's coming up, the festival?
Yeah, so this is our fourth year running it, and we are running a multicultural event, which looks to showcase all the different ethnic backgrounds, cultures within the city of Lowell. We have many different offerings. One of the highlights is the food, different ethnic foods available, as well as also different celebrations. We have some musical dance groups. We have some musical performers. Along with that, we also have different individuals who are also showcasing the ethnic wear, ethnic jewelry, and so forth. And it's basically just a family festival to invite everybody to come and enjoy and see what different communities have to offer.
If I could interrupt, you've run this before? Is this?
Yes, yes. This will be this will be the third year with alcohol, the fourth year running it from the same place.
What I want to know is, have you talked with the police about a security plan for the event?
Yes. So every year we have a security plan in place. We have Lowell Police as details throughout the event.
Okay, Captain, you're familiar with this event from the past years?
We did some research. There has been no issues with
No
this event.
issues.
And I don't know if they've reached out to the detail office or not. I'll make sure, but I don't see any problems with the commission.
And you have bartenders that are trained, tip certified,
Yes, I do have 4 bartenders tip certified.
that are trained? Okay, very good.
Yes.
Any questions from any of the commissioners? Move approval by Commissioner Mercia, second by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Application by Corey Belanger for a special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines for the Town and City Festival 3 on Saturday, August 15th, 2026, from 3 to 5 p.m. on Palmer Street. And I'm not seeing Corey.
We'll drop it
I'll put it to the end.
end of the meeting, please.
Next are 3 applications by Elizabeth Lopez for Air Market Sangha Center. Special one-day licenses to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines only for the following events on UMass Lowell's campus. Monday, August 17th, 2026, from 5 to 7 p.m. for a paraprofessional to teacher gathering at Allen House, 2 Solomon Way. on Sunday, September 20th, 2026, from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. for a field hockey alumni day celebration reception at Kennedy Family Athletic Center, 275 Riverside Street. And Thursday, September 24th, 2026, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. for the Celebrating Careers in Law reception at Coburn Hall, 850 Broadway Street.
Good evening, Elizabeth. For the record, your name and address?
Elizabeth Lopez, 307 Pawtucket Boulevard.
Okay, and the school year's starting?
It's starting.
It's starting, okay. And these are just some of the normal professional events that will go on all year?
Yeah, they have these annually.
Any questions about any of these events by anyone? No?
Do we have a law school here at UMass Lowell?
No.
There is not a law school, no.
I was wondering why we were celebrating careers in law.
Commissioner Krieger, I actually think I can speak to this because I was previously the mock trial captain for UMass Lowell, and I was also president of the Pre-Law Society. So September 24th is actually the day of their pre-law alumni reception, where students who are interested in pre-law and mock trial will speak with attorneys and other people in the legal field.
Okey-doke.
I will be there, which is why I'm aware of it.
Move approved by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Underwood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All set.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Going to return to Corey Belanger. Application by Corey Belanger for a special one-day license to sell, dispense malt beverages and wines for the Town and City Festival 3 on Saturday, August 15th, 2026, from 3 to 5 p.m. on Palmer Street. Corey's joining us on Zoom.
Good evening. Hello? You having some trouble with that?
You might be on mute.
Corey, please unmute yourself.
Okay, all right.
Good evening, Corey.
Okay,
Your
can you
name
hear
and
me now,
address
John?
for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, Corey Belanger, 200 Rogers Street.
All right, Corey, you want to tell us about your application?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. So, yes, this is part of the bicentennial celebration as well, mixed in with the town and the city. So, promises to be a good event. We got 2 acts lined up for Saturday afternoon. Right on Palmer Street, the same blueprint, the setup as the previous 2 that we've had in June as well. So,
And you have your same plans for people, employees, the bartenders, and security?
Oh, of course, yep. I'll get those, yep. Yes, same, yep. We are assisted by the city as well. There was police detail, and my bartenders are tip certified. So, yeah, we're good to go.
Great. Any questions from any of the commissioners? No questions? Move approved by Commissioner Mercier, second by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck, Corey.
Thank you very much.
Application by Amanda Etinge for a special one-day license to sell, dispense wines and malt beverages only for a Christian Women Fellowship on Sunday, August 23rd, 2026, from 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Hellenic Center, 41 Broadway Street. Amanda's joining us on Zoom.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Good evening, Amanda. For the record, your name and address?
Amanda, I think at 31 Windhaven Drive in Hudson, New Hampshire.
Okay, Amanda, you want to tell us briefly about this event?
We're just having, again, it's a church event that has been moved to the Hellenic Center just because our church is a little bit small to accumulate the crowd that is going to be there. And we just have a little reception after the church service. That's it.
How many women do you expect?
Oh, boy. For women, I'm not really sure. I want to say maybe 100.
How many?
100.
100? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And you have your regular bartenders are all set, tip certified?
Yes, sir.
Any questions from any of the board members? No questions? Move approval by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Ung. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Application by 412 Realty Trust, Suzanne Donahue, trustee for a lodging house license for premises at 412 Fletcher Street.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Donahue, 108 Lowell Road, Westford, Mass.
And for the record, Suzanne Donahue is not a relation to me, my Joseph Donahue.
Correct.
Although I know Suzanne from years managing different buildings in the city. Want to tell us about your latest, this house?
I'm here to complete the process for the rooming house license for 412 Fletcher Street. I've done all my inspections, and they're all completed.
Any questions?
So this is all approved through the city, the building department, the...
Yes, I have all my...
It's just funny, I hadn't heard about a rooming house or a lodging house in Lowell in a long time, so it kind of threw me off. But
So they should all be on file. the
you've got
certificate.
everything all done. I
They are.
did drive by it. It's a nice-looking building. So
Good-looking building, yeah.
Thank you.
I'll approve.
Move approval by Commissioner Mercia, second by Commissioner Ung. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much.
Application by Lokesh Mohan, owner of Shri Vishnu Padmavati LLC, doing business as Dip and Dine, for common vittler license for 1290 Westford Street.
Good evening. Your name and address for the record.
This is Lokesh Mohan, and the address is 1290 Westford Street, Lowell.
You want to tell us about your restaurant, what it's going to be?
Yeah, this is going to be an American cuisine with a 40-seater, and I'm here to apply for the selling beer and wine license.
Okay. How many people will it sit, the restaurant? How many
20.
people? I'm sorry?
20-seater.
20 seats? Okay. Any questions by anyone? Move approval by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Underwood. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Application by Minas Sheikh, LLC, manager of Jinnah and Minna LLC, doing business as Nana's Kitchen, for common vittler license for 1040 Gorham Street.
Good evening. Your name and address for the record?
My name is Minhaj Sheikh. My address is 251 Cumberland Road.
You want to tell us about Nana's, what it's going to be?
It's going to be an Italian and Indian takeout restaurant, sir.
Italian and Indian.
Yes, sir.
That's a good combination. Okay, very good. So you got a fairly big building, but is it going to be mostly takeout? Because that...
No, there is no seating at all for now. It's only a takeout place.
It's only takeout?
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, any questions? No questions? Move approved by Commissioner Mercia, second by Commissioner Krieger. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank
Good
you
luck
so much,
with it.
sir.
Thank you.
Next is a public hearing for an application by Mestiza Latin Kitchen Corp., Luisa Fernanda Lopera, proposed license manager for a new wine and malt beverages restaurant license for 491 Dutton Street, Unit 4.
Good evening, Council. Name and address for the record?
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, fellow commissioners. Attorney Michael Zame, attorney with the law office at 375 Gorham Street in Lowell, Massachusetts. I'm here with Luisa Lopera, who is the applicant and the proposed manager of record. To tell you a little bit about this location, it's an existing restaurant right now. It's at 491 Dutton Street. The official address is 491 Dutton Street, Unit 4. So those of you familiar, it's the old Textile Museum building. It sits in the lobby of that building. It has been a restaurant in the past. It had a period of time where it had gone through different phases. My client took this space over in April of 2025. Her customers over the period of the past year and a few months have expressed an interest in having a glass of either a beer or wine or malt beverage with their dinner. Their mantra there is that they cook with their hands, with fire and with heart. Their food does not come from industrial recipes, rather it comes from memory, heritage, and love. They've been operating at this location, like I said, and they're here to get that the Section 12 beer and wine only. I spoke with Mr. Pyers when we submitted the application, and you know, one of the things about when you hand your application into John, he likes to make sure all the ducks are in a row and everything's necessary, that when it gets before you and it gets down to the ABCC, that everything's there. And you know, one of the things obviously is that I said to my client, before you go before this board tonight, you're going to have to get tip certified. Did it right away. She's tip certified. We submitted that to Mr. Pyers. Mr. Pyers brought up a great point, is that this is kind of a unique location in that it isn't your typical establishment where it's, you know, 4 walls surrounded and it's all open. It's marked by boundaries. They're bound by the space that they rent, and there is a raised upper level that's kind of has a fencing around it. So it does have borders to it. And Mr. Pyers had indicated that, you know, one of the issues would be, and that he thought this board would like to see, and the ABCC would like to see, are signs that alert customers that no alcohol beyond this point. Just to re-emphasize that in addition to this training that the staff has received, if this goes into play, that this is, you know, they're all tips, they've all got the instructions as to where alcohol can't leave the premises, all of that. No sooner did Mr. Pyers give me that information, I emailed it to my client within an hour. She right away got this and said, not a problem, whatever it takes, whatever I need to do to make this work, I'm willing to do that. So although it's not, you know, not fully contained like a typical bar that you would see, you know, very, very similar to the outdoor seating that is throughout Lowell, that there is that, you know, there would be that possibility, and they're aware that somebody could walk by and hand a drink to somebody, but this isn't your outdoor seating that, like downtown Lowell, where people are walking by. This is in the lobby. It's a very controlled area, and so they've taken that into account. As far as procedural-wise, we submitted the application. It was published in the Lowell Sun. Certified mail was sent out to all the abutters that we received the list from the City of Lowell Assessor's Office. I'll note that there were no schools, no churches, and no hospitals within a 500-foot radius of that location. Okay, we're here today for the advertised public hearing. It's my understanding that there are some people here to speak, but before I get to that, is that this location has had an alcohol license before. The significance of that, and that was back in 2019, it was actually 2012 initially, and then later on it came back in 2019 through 2021, a place called Lemon and Thyme, Inc.
No, nobody.
Chairman Donahue and Commissioner Krieger were on the board at that time when that license was approved. The Gazebo Restaurant has been there before that, and then initially that was called the Seasoned Chef, I think was the original place. So at this point, is where I know this is a public hearing, what we're asking the commissioner to do is, based upon the application, based upon the law, and based upon what our presentation after the public hearing, to grant the license, so Section 12 beer and wine, wine and malt beverages.
Before I call the public hearing, I'm going to just make a comment that I was there yesterday, and I see, it was brought to my attention prior to that there is maybe a question of boundaries, and you're addressing it. I appreciate that. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult in light of, there are some people that have, I believe, will speak tonight. We received a letter that someone was not happy. I know the history, as you said. I was on the board, I think, for both of the two past liquor licenses. But my concern was containing the alcohol in there, and I think you're addressing it, but it's got to be adhered to strictly to keep it within the boundaries of the restaurant.
And again, if Mr. Chair, it's to you, is that I have copies of 3 letters that I believe were sent in. I don't know if you want me to address those now or wait till after the public hearing.
We'll do the public hearing, but first, any other commissioners have anything, comments or questions at this point?
No, wait till after.
Okay. Then at this point, I'm going to call for the public hearing on Mestassa Latin Kitchen Corporation. Anyone wish to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? Step right up and give us your name and address.
My name is Nicholas Eckenstein. I am at 491 Dutton Street, Unit 411. I'm a condo owner there. I think I find us to be tremendously lucky to have Mestiza Latin Kitchen in the building. It's a very highly rated restaurant. It's a very good restaurant. If you look on Google, it's 4.9 stars, and there's like 300 reviews. It's an incredible restaurant. They are dealing with a lot of difficulties, I think, in terms of signage that have made it very difficult for them to operate. And so if they can do more to attract customers, I think by having a liquor license, I'm okay with that, or malt and wine beverages. I know multiple times I've had people ask me in the parking lot, is there a restaurant here? Where's the restaurant? And it's because there's no big marquee out front. They have one little standee that is in the middle of the sidewalk that can fall over.
Yep.
There's a sign on the front door, but you have to go up to the front lobby to find the restaurant. So from my point of view, I would love for Mestiza to stick around. I know the restaurant that was in there previously left. I don't know anyone's business status or how close or how far they might be from that, but if this is a thing that helps Mestiza stick around, then I'm in favor of it.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in favor? In favor? For the record, your name and address?
Sean McDonough, 61 Market Street. As a private citadel, but just me. I didn't even realize this was on the agenda tonight, but I love this restaurant, and it's a public hearing. I am in favor. I am a downtown condo owner. I live above an establishment that also has when we moved in, they didn't have a beer, wine, or liquor license. They since got one. It is not in the lobby of our building, but they have an outdoor dining permit, which means there's consumption right as we are trying to walk in. It's never presented a problem. It's a well-managed establishment, similar, I believe, to how this establishment would be, and this is also contained inside a building. The fencing, I could see why there might be concerns, but to me this is it's an opportunity to allow a good business to expand their operation. And yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? Go ahead, step up and give us your name and address.
My name is Will Winslow. I live at 491, Unit 320. I have one thing to say. If you haven't eaten there, you should try it. I'm in favor of good restaurants. We don't go out often, my wife and I, because she's such a good cook. But when we do, Mestiza is the place we go to. And as far as any problem in the lobby, I can't see that. I cannot visualize that happening at all. It's a very contained little restaurant, very contained as far as space, and just a wonderful place to eat.
Great.
Go
Thank
there.
you.
Try it out sometime.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Your wife's cooking is better, though. She's a good cook. All right. Anyone else wish to speak in favor? In favor? In favor? No one else wishing to speak in favor? That portion of the hearing is closed. Anyone wishing to speak against the Latin Kitchen? Your name and address for the record?
Miles Tarter, 491 Dutton Street. I live in the building. I posted not everybody, first of all, got the public notice. There were 2 people who notified me they did not get one. And I'm not sure if the business/school ICCD on the 2nd floor got a notice. I did inform the owner of that school of this hearing and the issue and have not heard back. So the first thing I'll tell you is that 14 different people got back to me. There was a division of opinion there that covers a wide range that I'm glad we have an experienced group of commissioners to sift through and make a thoughtful determination. The one thing I can tell you that everybody said is that we love this restaurant. We want them to be successful. The food is fantastic. If you haven't been there, please go and try it. But there are serious concerns that I will leave to other people to elaborate. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? In opposition? Good evening. Your name and address for the record?
Raymond DeRosa, 491 Dutton Street, Unit 319. I think we can all agree that we love Louisa and her staff, and we love the food at Mestiza. The main issue for us is parking. Very limited parking.
Parking.
Even during the day when it's not that busy, it's tough to get a parking spot. We don't have assigned parking. You could drive around that parking lot for quite a while looking for a parking spot. Not because of the restaurant, just because of the amount of activity that goes on there. We have prohibited chiropractors, barbers from getting business units because of the amount of traffic that they generate and the amount of parking that would be taken away from us. So as an owner, and I know the other owners feel the same way, we can't afford the additional traffic. But good luck to Louisa, however this works out. And I want to echo Miles. If you haven't gone there, you should go. You really should. And if you're into dessert, I highly recommend the Tres Leches cake.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Name and address?
Mark Hunter, 491 Dutton Street, Unit 520. My wife and I both agree on one thing. It is an outstanding restaurant, and we would be very sad for it to go. That said, our building at 491 has a history of, after the fact, let's concede the point. We don't get in on discussions, we don't get a chance to know what's happening, and so we are in a vacuum. So one of the problems we have, there is an area of our lobby that back in time, a previous contractor built a little structure, sealed it in, and said, this will be for a bar. After that, that restaurant was gone, and after that, he put antiques in there and said that this is a historical extension of the American Textile History Museum that used to be here. I am afraid now, because that section has been, all of the antiques have been removed. They showed up in a rental space, and now I'd love to know that they're not going to put a bar in our lobby, extending unilaterally what used to be our lobby space. It's very difficult to summarize when you don't know what you're against. We have some issues. One issue is that the restaurant's hours are currently, I believe, until 9 p.m. But sometimes they close down and leave, but people are left in the restaurant area. And we're concerned that with liquor there, that their hours should always cover until people are gone, especially if they've been drinking, and that we not have to worry about these people getting on the road after being monitored by a restaurant. The restaurant must commit to monitoring all patrons until closing time. There is an issue that liquor storage could be problematic. They don't have a lot of space. And to that point, right now, they are using an adjacent rental space. I don't know if it's with permission or not, but in that rental space, which is due to be rented by some other company, they have a large refrigerator and they have their storage supplies. We can only imagine it be enlarged to accommodate liquor. The expansion of restaurant services would be accompanied by parking, which of course is not assigned. And if the restaurant intends to expand their hours, we are worried that they will extend till, I understand, 10 p.m. People are already home, residents are consuming that parking, and the restaurant has been very successful, and we have had restrictions up till 9 o'clock. It's easing considerably, but it still will be an expanding problem. Hopefully, resident responses support the rejection of the liquor license, or at very least, we would like to have a list of things we'd like to know about to accompany them before you issue your opinion on the liquor license. Our concerns should be addressed. I thank you for your time. I submitted this letter at 3 p.m. today, so it is not in your records yet, but it's on file. And my letter includes pictures of some of the areas which would be involved. Again, I could not say enough about this restaurant. We've had a string of restaurants that failed, and this, we are happy to see people there. We love their food. We love their resilience, their change of menu, and we very much do not want it to leave.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I might have a question.
Yes.
Isn't there a condominium association that rents out this space? And the lease, I would imagine, limits their use of the property there. Is that correct? Wouldn't that be correct?
I know that that
And that's your
space is
condominium
owned as-
association, right?
There are better people to talk about this. Members of our board are here.
Okay.
If I could defer. I'm sorry? No, but you know maybe something about the rental, you know the composition. We know that the residents on the third, fourth, fifth floors constitute 80% by original agreement. And the first two floors were intended to be commercial, and that has been relaxed. Residents have moved in. And so, and there are other parties. This one rental space is being separately negotiated for rental by someone else. I'm not sure if they have an agreement for the restaurant to expand into that or not.
Okay.
Yes, I just don't know.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Your name and address, and you have your time speaking. Yep, you're.
Carter, 491 Dutton Street. I am on the board. There are 4 boards in this building. It is a complicated mess of who votes and who is responsible for any particular part of the building, and that's all I wanted to say about that. It's just not a simple question to answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can I,
Excuse me.
what-
Hang on one second.
Just a quick question for you. Who controls, you said there's 4 boards. Is there a board that controls that common area, or is that the building owner? Do you know? It sounds like it's complicated, but.
The primary board, has
Primary.
control of that common area.
Okay.
But there's, to make it more complicated, there are owners of who own the restaurant space that it's leased to, I believe, to Louisa. They also have a vote on the primary board.
The owner.
It's not a simple, yes, we make that determination. It also includes lawyers who are owners of pieces of the building. So it's, it'll make a great, murder mystery sitcom at some point if somebody wants to.
Well, we don't want to kill anybody in the building right now, so.
Thank you.
right,
Anyone
thank you.
else wish to speak in opposition?
My name is Peter Fisher, 491 Dutton Street, Unit 408. My issue is not with the restaurant. My issue is with the introduction of alcohol into our lobby. I'm afraid that our lobby will turn into a lounge, hurting property values, and there are people running all over the place now, let alone if they're, let's say, drunk or something. And I believe there is a school on the second floor.
There were what?
I believe there is a school on the second floor for handicapped children.
We'll try and address that. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? In opposition. Your name and address for the record?
Tony Wallace, my address is 491 Dutton Street, and I've lived there approximately 5 years. I had a lot of concerns, and I think more importantly, being in this business for over 4 decades, I've tended bar many years, so I understand how things can get out of hand and liquor liabilities and all the other things. I think we really need guardrails in place. I love the restaurant. I like Mario and Maria. They're very nice. But I think that, you know, security-wise for our residents, we lock the doors at 9 o'clock. And I know they've asked me what they have to do to get them to keep them open till 10. And I explain there's a security issue there. We can't have people roaming around. You've been there for dinner. I'm sure you see the logistics. Our common area abuts the restaurant. So my question is obviously, how do you control that crowd if they're having a cocktail and they move out front, which they do? I, again, am a big fan of the restaurant, but I think that there's a number of, like I mentioned, guardrails that really have to be put in place here. A couple weeks ago, I'll give you the exact date, on July 29th, my wife and I were coming back from dinner, and the doors were open at 9:40. Somebody had their foot in the door. There were 20 people there. They weren't residents. I know everybody by sight or by name. And the people from the restaurant went home. And again, I'm a fan of the restaurant, but I think if we're going to approve anything, I don't know, but I'd like to ask the board, before you do that, that we need to make sure a lot of these concerns are remedied, and they don't take advantage of this common area, which is really designed for the residents to go down and relax. And, you know, we understand there's some overspill. People take the to-go bags. I see it all the time. They run out front. They sit on our area. But if it's not a problem, we don't try to be ultra proactive and, hurting the business. But we've had an ongoing discussion about this, and being beer and wine, I was originally under the impression it was going to be a full liquor license. I had a whole host of questions and concerns about that. That's a totally different animal, and with a liquor license, people stay 62% longer, so it does challenge us to allocate the correct amount of parking flows in and out of the building, where the businesses are going down and other cars are coming in. So it is a challenge, but I would, I think we need to be reassured that in one way or another, that, the restaurant either meets with somebody from our team or whatever on a weekly or every other week basis, if this is going to be conditionally approved, to make sure none of these things get out of hand, if you will, and out of control. And the other thing I have, too, just one other thing, is how do you control functions? I've worked a lot of functions, and I could tell you one thing. If you have a bunch of people having cocktails, you can't tell them to stay out of there because, as you've seen the building logistically, there's an invisible wall there. There's no area where they can just lock their door and go home. So it's part of, with the law offices, you have to walk through Batista to get to the law offices in the back and the other businesses. So it is a bit of a challenge because you've got professional businesses in there, you've got residents. We're all concerned about that. We have a lot of elderly people in the building, but we want to make sure everybody's safe. That's the first thing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition?
Mark Mello, 491 Dutton Street, 514. I've lived there for 12 years. I am not for or against. I am neutral. And the reason I'm neutral is because, as Tony has spoken about, guardrails and making sure that we have things in place, right, that will assure, it's a mixed-use space, right? We have commercial, residential, and business. So, there's a challenge there. And believe me, Mario and Maria, they work with us great. And by the way, the food is great. And I think what what my biggest concern is before a license would be approved, is to make sure that the concerns that the constituents at 491 have are addressed as far as the guardrails. And we've named a couple. First of all, tip certified. Well, that was great. Okay, already tip certified. That was great. Fantastic. Well, it's not a liquor license. It's a beer and wine license. Okay, that was another really big one for us, right? So those are some of the concerns that have now been addressed, right? And I think that just collectively, us collaborating together, we can get the other ones, rectified. Who owns the license? Is it Maria and Mestiza that owns the license? Or is it the Gazebo Realty Trust, who are the owners of the property? So that's important, right? Because we want to make sure that that's their license. If they were to leave, does that license go with them, or does that stay? So that sounds like it would go, it's your license, so that's good. So all I ask is that before a decision is made, is give us all the opportunity to make sure that those guidelines are in place, so that the entire community feels comfortable. I don't feel like there's ever, I mean, they've worked, Mestiza, Maria, Mario, they work with us all the time. And they're very collaborative, and it's just a matter of let's work it out, and then let's move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? No? Oh, okay. Your name and address for the record.
Aries Elves, 491 Dutton Street, 513. So, not an attorney, I'm not into this, so I'm just a resident. I have a really big issue with the common space. The restaurant is surrounded by area that's a common space. Before they moved in, we developed the seating there for us to use and so on. But, I come from work, 6, 7 o'clock at night, and it's being used by customers of the restaurant, right? Sometimes there's children moving around, running around. I just came in this afternoon, and there were 2 young girls and a child just running around in that space. I don't know who they are. Obviously, they don't live in our building because we know who the children who live in our building. And I've got a problem with also liability. I don't know what that means, right? So someone gets a drink in a restaurant, and it's an invisible. It's not like they open the door there on the parking lot. They got to walk down the stairs, walk in our space, right? And it's great to say that we could put guardrails around it, but I live in a world where it's after the fact. Something happens, and and it's hard to enforce these things, right? We're not going to have a police officer sitting there or someone sitting there and saying, "Okay, you're supposed to. You got a beer. You should stay there. You're not supposed to cross over."
That's the obligation of the manager, the person.
I understand. It's easier.
But what I'm looking at is the condominium association seems to not understand its function and its limitations. This is what has been leased to X person, and you cannot use anything other than that. That's the condominium association's responsibility, at least as I understand the condominium association, to enforce the rules and regulations of that building.
I totally understand what you're saying, but also when I made this purchase, right, it was a place, the original place that was there, it was for the museum. They sold sandwiches and probably Cokes and whatever. It never had beer, alcohol, and hard drinks. So
right.
I think you could understand how, now that's something else. It's not, just having food, what everybody seems to love. There's more to it, right? You have alcohol, people stay longer, right? I mean, when I go to a restaurant, if I get to get a beer and enjoy a beer, I'm staying longer. I'm not just eating and leaving. So all of that contributes to my anxiety is just as an owner, coming home and having to fix problems as opposed to not having problems. So that's all I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? In opposition? In opposition? No one else wishing to speak in opposition? That portion of the meeting is now closed. I now ask the Commissioners, Council, maybe you can have the Council address
Yeah.
issues for us.
If Council-
And for the people that spoke about the problem.
If you could address, it'd be nice to get to a consensus here with everybody, with the residents and the owners there. So if you can address some of the concerns that
I
they came up with, that would be very helpful to the board. I
I
believe.
certainly will, but I have to say that that's some of the kindest opposition I've ever seen at a public meeting in my life. And, you know, Lowell's supposed to be a tough city, guys, but this was very nice, very kind. A few things to start off with, and, you know, one of the things that to echo is that the condo association documents that cover the gazebo, and to address one of the gentlemen's, the Gazebo Realty Trust is the owner of the space. Messina Latin Kitchen Corporation has entered into a lease with them. And obviously, prior to coming here before you and submitting the application, we went to the condo association strike that. We went to Gazebo, the landlord, Gazebo Realty Trust, through their counsel. We spoke with them, and the agreement, the lease agreement, the condo documents allow this use, and because that was one of the original, this is a mixed-use design, so this use of this space for a restaurant and the service of alcohol has been included in the condominium documents. Now, the lease agreement allows for, at least between Gazebo Realty Trust and my client, Messina Latin Kitchen Corp., they gave them permission for the beer and wine license. To address one of the concerns is that, as this commission knows, and the public should know, and the group here should know, that the requirement by the city that they carry liquor liability is something that is required, and that they're named as an additional insured. The agreement between the landlord and the tenant would also require that the Gazebo Realty Trust be an additional insured as well as part of the agreement. And in fact, they have higher requirements in terms of liability insurance than what the city requires for liquor liability insurance. So in terms of insurance, is that they are part of the condo association in terms of Gazebo Realty Trust is a voting board member, so they do contribute to condominium fees for purposes of the common areas and for all of the different things that some of the people addressed in terms of maintenance of the area and cleaning and stuff like that. One of the things I heard was, again, obviously an outstanding restaurant. One of the gentlemen was talking about, I think it was Mr. Hunter, was talking about space that has nothing to do with their space. And if someone wanted to put an alcohol service establishment in that space that Mr. Hunter references in his letter that was submitted late this afternoon, they would have to come before you and get a license for purposes of using that space. You can't just say, hey, we're going to expand and use across the hall for liquor service. And it's not their space. They don't own that space, so they have no right to occupy that space, and it's not their intention to expand across the hall. The other part of this is they're not changing this into a nightclub. They're not changing this into a bar. There's no bar. It's not a place where you go in and sit at the bar. This is tableside service. They're not changing their hours of operation. It's just the ability to offer wine and malt beverages to their customers, who over the course of the past year and 4 months have expressed an interest in having that with their meal. One of the issues that I thought Mr. DeRosa brought up was it said that there's parking problems there, but it's not because of the restaurant. So that was one of the things that there seemed to be a little bit of confusion as to what's happening, what the plan was, what they're asking for, and there's been some representation about a school in here, and one of the letters you got was from a gentleman by the name of Laurent Amoyo, who doesn't live in the building, by the way. He lives in West Newton. He owns a I think, 8 units in the building. Doesn't live here, but he wants to say, and he takes time in his letter to say, you know, this is important because when you buy it, you know, these are residents. Here's a guy who's not even a resident saying, I don't want it. And he tries to throw into his objection, saying this board doesn't have the right to give the license because there's a school in the building. And again, I mentioned it earlier, there is no school in the building. They're referring to a place that's called an Integrated Center for Child Development. It's in the building. I'm not sure if you know what that is, but it is an amazing group of clinicians, neuropsychologists, medical professional therapists, educators, who care for and develop programs for mostly autistic children. Okay? But it's not, and the statute, 138 Section 16C, which governs notifying the school and this prohibition if there's a school within that distance, it refers to a Chapter 71 public school, okay, and that's not the case here. So even if it were a school, it still wouldn't prevent, and it isn't, but even if it were, it still doesn't say because there's a school you can't do it. What it says is you can take that into consideration, and it's still within your discretion to be able to give a license under that statute. I don't know if there's anything else, other than to say is that this was the original intent of the people who put this building together, was to have a restaurant. And again, although it hasn't been a liquor license there all of the time that restaurant's been open, it has been there before. And again, as far as I know, and as far as checking with the police department, there's never been an issue there. And some of the issues that were raised in one of the letters that we got had nothing to do with, and they can't pinpoint and say it's because of the restaurant. And the people here tonight couldn't really specify it's because of the restaurant.
Okay. Any questions from the group?
Question. So, can you address, is there a way of, and I was actually over there this afternoon looking around. Did somebody say there's no children live in the building? Did somebody say that? There are children that live in the building. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I was going to say there was a gentleman sitting there with a. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought somebody said there were no children allowed in the building. So I was just curious because there was one there this afternoon. So I wanted to make sure somebody caught her if she was there. What about and I did notice that bottom floor where there are some tables it's opened up there. Is there any way of doing something there I'm not saying put up a wall or whatever, but maybe some, would you entertain, like just the rope things there? It's just something to.
Theater rope, if you will.
Yeah, because it is wide open, and I understand the concerns.
Actually, once we brought that to the attention because we wanted to have some privacy, and the condo association has to approve that for us too.
Oh, is there a plan to do that, or?
There was no plan because even one of the persons from the association, they say that they should do one of those fake leaves walls, and then they can separate the lobby from the restaurant, and we say yeah, this is a great idea, it works for us, works for them, but we never spoke more about it because as they say, it's kind of complicated because you have to talk to many parties and many people involved in order to get whatever you need. So yeah.
Is that something that you're willing to keep?
If we need to do, so I'm so sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, and I'm sorry with my attorney, but we're really happy in the place, right? We love our neighbors. Yeah, we love our place, but it's a really tough location, really tough. We have a small sign because with the association was another thing with the signage. It's everything is $1,000, $3,000. We don't have that much money. We're struggling right now as well. It has been really hard. This year has been really hard for us. And the neighbors have been very supportive. And And yeah, we're a family business. We don't intend to have like drunk people or like to have like a crazy bar. We're not that kind of people. Like I'm sober myself, so like, and yeah, there are some kids running around, including my own kids sometimes because they are kids. My kid is 4-year-old. I don't know if you have kids, but it's
No, I've got
hard to tell
nothing
them
against
to
kids.
stay in one place at a time, right? So, and they play with the neighbors as well. So, and like, because it's a family business, people bring their families and their kids and they like to play around. So that's why we don't have an intent of like having a nightclub or like a margarita place or something like that with the tacos. Like we want to have a beer with the tacos, like, because we're a family restaurant. We're even closed on Sundays because we're a family business. Okay? And I'm sorry.
Okay, so I guess
She was reading. right
back to
from
my original question.
She was reading right from my notes here. So
Would you be willing to, like they had talked about earlier, of sitting down and however figuring out with the 4 boards or whatever, a way of, and the privacy thing is good too. People, I'm assuming people are sitting there eating, they don't really want people looking in on them too. I'm just wondering if you can give assurances to the board that the conversation will continue with the residents.
So one of the things is, and when I send my letters out to the abutters, and one of the things I do put on the letter is, once you get the letter, and there's a short window in between the time we get the letters out to the abutters until the time of the meeting. It's usually about a 10 to 12 day period. But I do ask the people, if you have any concerns, reach out to me, and to have this discussion. I didn't have any communication with anybody from any residents, either in for or opposition. But one of the things, like I said earlier, is that anything that this board has, would like to see, the tips, they did it. No alcohol behind this point. The issue, like I said, my client mentioned, was that they love it there, and it seems the people love them. And again, we understand their concerns, and they're more than willing. And again, they're willing to do stuff, and then the next hoop that we're going to have to jump through, and they're willing to go through that. And it might be a lot easier if there's some other members of some of the residents, some of the owners on board with it, is to get those things approved. Like I said, is that if they will say, okay, like some sort of decorative privacy wall, fence, however it is, even if they're portable, to be able to move them in and out, so that whatever it is. But that's the type of people they are. Is that they want to be there, they want to be successful. They've obviously developed a great rapport with the residents. So that there's no question in my mind is that if there's a solution that can be worked out between that satisfies the residents and the restaurant, and we can get the board or the condo board people to approve it, then that's certainly something that they're willing to do.
Any other questions from any members? Actually, no, this portion of, not at this time. Well, we can't go on forever with this. First we have the commissioner. Commissioner,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have, just want to just learn something new, and I know that the owners, the people came for support and against. It seemed to love your food, and I think that's a positive things. And I heard the history that they used to have a restaurant and serve beer and wine also, and never had any issue in the past. And my concern that I want to raise is that I think the residents that came forward in oppositions seem to have concern with safety issue. Is there any way that the restaurant and the people come for the opposite sides come to some agreement to find way to address the issue of the safety concern that they raised, such as the door being blocked so that the door stay open after restaurant certain hours like this? Probably not the restaurant's responsibility. Maybe the owners association had to address the issue also. So I think two sides probably should come to have some sort of conversation how to address those issues, so it won't happen. So I think that's the only thing that I just want to raise. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah. Can we suspend this discussion till the next meeting so that the 4 condo associations, the owner and the leaser, can get together and work out what differences currently exist, and then we can reconvene. We can have a more talk in favor and in opposition, and then we can vote and approve this or let it disappear into the mist.
We have had the public hearing, and it's been open for those speaking in favor and those in opposition have all been heard. And we can't go on forever having people get up and speak a second, third time after the public hearing has been closed. I don't know what would be that important that would solve the issue. Do you have any objection, counsel, to this gentleman having the history, brief history, maybe help this move along? Because
I would have no objection to reopening.
okay, go ahead, sir.
For that purpose.
Back. That's it. You got 2 minutes to name and address again.
In the history of our building, we were originally...
Name and address again.
We were a museum on the first... Oh, Mark Hunter, 491 Dutton.
Thank you.
Unit 520. So when our building started, it was on the first 2 floors, a museum.
Right.
And the upper floors were the national parks.
Right.
The gazebo restaurant served the museum, and there were no residents in the building. Residents are a new addition to the building, and we have a history of residents not being heard as condos were built and everything else. We want to be heard. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
He may have standing. He owns the unit above.
This gentleman showing me a document that Mr. from Lamont Oil, that is that this thing here says he owns this under that, he owns the unit under this. He does not live there. He lives in
But he owns several units, and I wonder if he has standing. No, this is Warren to Moyle. But he owns several units.
So he owns 9 of them.
Mr. Chairman,
And again, this is the gentleman that again, he owns 9 of them, doesn't live in any of them. But this gentleman again brings up a point about is that the condo association isn't hearing them. And so from our perspective is why we're here, the use that we're asking this board to give is allowed by the law. And again, if there's things that we can facilitate this, just like some of the, just like any other place in the city, if there's an issue going on, the owners of the owners of the businesses get together with the residents and how to solve it. They're willing to do any of those things, provided that, like I said, if you're talking about, very common sense, the rope or some sort of privacy thing, they'll do that, provided, and again, as long as, that satisfies what the residents want, but also at the same time that that the condo association that controls the lobby aspect of it will allow them to do it. So, I mean, I think a very simple solution, like you said, is even if it's a temporary piece, fence pieces that they could, like a lattice work or something that they could put to to containment purposes. Simple solutions, again, they'll do what they can, provided that the condo association lets them.
I think the signage you can put up, and probably within your boundaries, a decorative rope, you know,
And you know,
blocking it.
they're, like I said, they're tip certified. They understand that, again, if there is a problem, they'll be before you.
She is going to be before us if there's a problem. Well, the manager, right, is the name on the application. Luisa Fernanda Lopera.
But what I'm saying is, if there are problems.
If there are problems,
then
Luisa's.
she would be back before you.
Right.
And take the board would take the necessary steps to necessary corrective action to take that. And again, this is a situation where it appears that there's going to be a lot of eyes watching her, and I'm sure if there is a problem, you'll learn about it.
Well, we have one issue before, I guess we have to address Commissioner Krieger. Are you making a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we delay the vote on this item until the next meeting, allowing time for the condo association, the owner, the manager of record, and the application to get together and come back and in a unified way assure us that all these issues have been resolved.
Is there a second for that motion? Second by Commissioner Hung, to continue this to the next public hearing, to the next meeting, for a report from the condo association and the attorney if some resolution has been made. If at this point, I'm going to vote no on this. This appears to be, this manager, this applicant for the license, this lady has gone through, made her lease arrangements with the owner of the property, and she is aware, and her attorney is aware, that there may be some open areas that need to be contained for the liquor license. Not liquor, but wine and malt liquor be contained within, and they're aware of that. But to see that a history of 4 condominium associations that that aren't talking to each other, and it appears historically have not been talking to each other, I don't know if that's going to resolve, move along our decision-making, or just delaying this lady's ability to have a successful restaurant, or hopefully a successful ongoing business. Yeah, and I think, well, that's my opinion. At this point, roll call on the motion to continue.
Commissioner Donahue.
No.
Commissioner Krieger.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercier.
No.
Commissioner Underwood.
No.
Commissioner Ung.
Yes.
2 in favor, 3 opposed. Motion is lost.
The motion is lost. The next matter would be, I believe, would be to, is there someone wish to move on the motion to approve?
I will move on that.
Commissioner Underwood, move to approve the application by Maritza Latin Kitchen, manager of record, Luisa Fernandez Lopera, on 491 Dutton Street, Unit 4. Is there a second to that? Second by Commissioner Mercier. Call the roll on this, please.
Commission Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger.
Yes.
Commissioner Mercier.
Yes.
Commissioner Underwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Ung.
Yes.
5 yeas. Motion carries.
We expect the signage in place and anything else that controls that. As you said, or she's...
Let's hope it gets past the ABC.
We'll see you back here. If she gets past the ABC, is still something that she has to do. So we wish you good luck with your business.
All right.
And good luck to the condominium associations, and that they can resolve their issues. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is a public hearing to discuss Lowell alcoholic beverages regulations.
Yeah, okay. This is a public hearing on discussion of alcoholic beverage regulation changes that are to be made. And we're opening this for anyone to speak in favor of the new regulations. Councilor Mercia, for the record.
Yes, good evening, members of the License Commission. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak here this evening. For the record, my name is Rita Mercia, and my address is 221 Burnham Road in Lowell. I speak here this evening in no other capacity, only as a resident of the city of Lowell. First, let me preface my remarks by saying I am in no way trying to hurt bars or restaurants in any way. As of right now, I just want to say that the owners of the establishments are following the rules, but in my opinion, the rules are flawed, and they need to be revisited. In recent weeks, we heard so much more about the fact that there are no bars in Lowell. Only establishments that serve food are classified as restaurants where age limits do not even apply, though alcohol is sold and minors are allowed to visit and sometimes mistakenly get served alcohol. Well, these sometimes minors being sold alcohol should not ever happen. Therefore, the no bars ordinance, in my opinion, is a loophole ordinance, and I do not support this ordinance or the loopholes that apply. We have a so-called restaurant in the city of Lowell that isn't even functioning as a kitchen, but it has plenty of booze. Is that fair to the minors to be exposed to that? I think not. I ask that the law be reviewed. I ask that the city solicitor and this commission, the License Commission, to revisit the laws concerning bar licenses and protect our minors, our children. Let's have our official look at the curfew ordinance that establishes a reasonable cutoff time. Historically, local licensing guidelines heavily prioritize the common victual or restaurant model, ensuring that establishments serving alcohol, they're primarily functioned as food-serving sit-down spaces. Today, loose oversight allows venues to pivot away from dining, generating a standard nightclub/bar environment that attracts underage drinking. We need to mandate stricter enforceable food sales to alcohol sales percentage ratio for all standard restaurant liquor licenses. We also need to implement an automatic license suspension framework for any establishment serving alcohols to minors. We as a city need to protect our children, implement the curfew ordinance law, and reverse this loophole no bar ordinance and save our children. I also feel that you have youngsters, let's not deny that are probably 14, 15, 16. They look like 21. You know, they look older. They're coming into the bars because it's appealing now. And then you hear in the paper where a mother was there with her 20-year-old son, and they had a bottle delivered to the table, and no license inspection of their age was ever took place, and they were drinking the alcohol. That's something that frightens me. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I place no blame anywhere. I'm just asking if you revisit the rules, put a curfew in to protect our children. You're doing a great job. I admire you for taking your time to be here. I just want to strengthen the laws a little bit more. That's all I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this matter?
Hello again. Sean McDonough, 61 Market Street, private resident, no official capacity. Thank you all for taking this up. I read through the proposal that was attached to your packet. Honestly, as someone who lives, most of my neighbors are bars, living on Market Street. Most of my neighbors are bars. And in talking to my neighbors that are bars, this is something that actually applies to, it would not require much change to the vast majority of establishments in the city. It's a very, the proposal in front of you tonight, to me, reads as a very, very modest first step. Not that perhaps it's the only step that will need to be taken, but I think right now where, as the previous speaker said, is Lowell Sun has taken to reporting on a bi-weekly basis. There are no bars in Lowell. I think we all know that there do seem to be some that serve saran-wrapped food or their kitchen is an easy bake oven. And so I think moving to define and differentiate between a restaurant and a bar is a step in a positive direction that will enable, those that are already following the rules or already doing the right thing to continue doing what they're doing, which is the vast majority of establishments, and require a fairly small change and provide an option to continue their business for those that are not, that are currently taking advantage, intentionally or not, of a loophole that allows prepackaged sandwiches to count as your food contribution. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the commission?
Penny Hamburgers, 141 Worthen Street, from the Worthen House Cafe. I don't know if it's possible, and obviously ours is a restaurant. When the restaurant shuts down at 9 o'clock or 9:30, there's a sign, and we don't allow anyone that's under the age of 21 at that point in time. Now, we do know there's bars in the city of Lowell, strictly bars, and I don't know if there's is any possible way of creating a license for the places that don't have a kitchen. They want to operate as a bar, give them a bar license instead of penalizing the rest of us.
Well, to that, I think the city solicitor will be addressing several issues after the public speakers, explaining that, yes, we hope to have a bar, which is no food, just serving drinks, and at 21, no one under 21 allowed in those facilities. Then there's the restaurants, and there's a requirement that you have to have a certain amount of food served. You're not a bar restaurant, a restaurant facility with a liquor license. So the city solicitor will be explaining that there are going to be, and as the last speaker said, they're modest changes, but they're changes that we are seriously discussing to prevent, or hopefully to prevent, under 21s getting into facilities.
Totally agree with under 21s and not being able to get in when there's no food sales.
And we have a problem with a successful restaurant that if you're going to be open after a certain hour, we're going to, in some way, need to address it, because if the kitchen closes at 9, 10 o'clock, but it's a successful kitchen when it's open, and it's not saran-wrapped hot dogs, I know that. That we have to probably work something of that into situations similar to yours.
Right, not to allow people under the age of 21 after that point.
That's what I want to ask. You were saying that once the kitchen closes, anybody under 21 is out of the...
Yeah, we have a sign as soon as you enter that says after 9 p.m., kitchen is still open, but after 9 p.m., there's no under 21 in the establishment.
Oh, okay.
There's no need for their own safety, too.
Yeah, there's a few proposals here that, and that's what we're trying to sort out tonight, which direction the
Yeah.
board wants to go, which is the best direction, and that's one of the proposals, where at one point or another, the under 21s have to get out of the bar.
I mean, I think it's been working great all these years, like, after 9 o'clock, we don't allow anyone in.
And you're doing it voluntarily.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You're
Oh, but
you're
for
doing
the-
it right.
But
so.
again, for their own safety, right? Because after 9 o'clock, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're doing the responsible thing.
Yeah, we're trying to tweak it around a little bit to get better control over the miners going in and under certain conditions and everything. So this is the first talks we're having about it, so
Okay.
I actually don't even think we have anything positive that we're going to vote on tonight, do we, or
Possibly.
possibly?
Yeah.
You can, Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Mercier, but you can also vote to continue the hearing to a later date if you want to expand the discussion beyond just today.
Anyone else wish to speak?
Thank you.
Go ahead. And
I think everyone knows my name anyways, but Nick Petrakis, 50 Staple Street is my residence. I just want to say that I agree with what Councilor McDonough said, Councilor Mercia, and Penny that owns the Worthen. Regardless of what you call the license, and I think this would satisfy, from my point of view, hopefully, both the police department and the law department. If they said, like, I've switched predominantly to food recently, but even if my kitchen's open, if they said, don't let anyone in your place after 10, 9, irregardless of if my kitchen's open or not, that way if they came in to do a compliance check and found someone underage, whether the kitchen was open or not, I'd be in violation. So what I'm saying is if there's some kind of license where they said, your license forbids you to have anybody in there after 8 o'clock that's under 21, I'm all for getting a license like that, or after 9 o'clock or whatever. So I'm all in favor of what they just said, and I hope that would satisfy. I'd also like, if I could, and I don't know if this is the time to make a recommendation. In the past, I've been around for 30 years, and the police department, whether it was a chief, or superior officer, or captain, or a deputy, would meet. It used to be across Point Towers with the licensees for a give and take, mostly give advice and stuff. I'm all for that too. So I guess any license that the commissioners would like to come up with for the legal department in conjunction with the police department, if they said, here's your license, license B. After 9 o'clock, if there's anybody in there that's under 21, irregardless of your kitchen being open and whatever, you're in violation. That way, if someone came in and did a compliance check, wouldn't matter if the kitchen was open or not. Your license says you can't have anyone in there after whatever it is. I'm willing to take a license like that. So thank you.
Okay. Your name and address for the record?
My name is Tommy. I'm 708 Bridge Street, Lowell, Mass. So I'm speaking on more towards the opposing side. So before COVID, downtown was alive. People were walking downtown. I have that experience of that. And I think that this is slightly kind of bringing this energy where we're kind of pushing people away. I've worked in the nightlife for years as a manager and a promoter across of Lowell, Lawrence, New Hampshire, and Boston. I've learned that the nightlife is an economy, not just entertainment. So bartenders, securities, DJs, promoters, servers, and many other working class people depend on this business. So from midnight to 2 a.m., I would kind of consider that to be the most important financial hours. Cutting those hours means fewer shifts, fewer tips, and less income. If Lowell were to end at midnight, aren't necessarily going to send people home. They're going somewhere else instead. And their money goes somewhere else instead, which means that that's less foot traffic for supporting Lowell businesses. Lowell also has major businesses like Lowell Folk Fest, Waterfest, and Puerto Rican Festival that brings in thousands of people into the city, and we should give those visitors reasons to stay downtown afterwards, supporting other restaurants and nightlifes and continue that time. We also need to consider that these incidents that are happening, many happening outside of the establishments on public streets, after patrons have already left, businesses should be responsible for the operations, individuals that responsible for their actions that are happening within. But if these situations are happening outside and the de-escalation is towards the Lowell Police Department, accountability needs to apply to everyone. Meaning that, just to re-elaborate on that, is that I was a part of seeing that incident that happened outside. during Folk Fest. And I would like to say that just seeing from where it was, everybody inside, a part of the operation tried their best to really maintain what was happening on the inside, which operations on the inside were doing well. I believe that nightlife can be safe and sorry, I don't really speak that often, economically strong, but I just think that there just needs to be a better communication of a bridge between the Liquor Commission and like the business itself.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to address the board? This is the guy from Middlesex. Good evening. Your name and address for the record?
Ernest Lugo, 20 Page Street in Malden. As you know, Mr. Commissioner, I own Tesco Bar. There's many things that are being said about Tesco Bar that are not fully true. The age admittance, that is a complete fabrication by an overzealous reporter that keeps...
I'm going to ask you, perhaps it's not best for you to say anything about any incidents right now. This hearing is only about changes to the regulations for the city of Lowell. And you've got a matter that will be coming up soon, and it might not be in your best interest to say anything prior to that hearing and with advice from either legal counsel or others. So I just want to warn you that it's best not to get into specific instances that may come back to bother you at a later date, okay?
Okay.
I just want to give you fair warning, but you're welcome to say anything you want about changes in the regulations.
Yes.
I think is your best interest.
At my establishment, we do check ID. We have 2 people outside checking IDs. We even bought a device that is computerized and check IDs. So the 21, we all our events since one event happened in the past have been 21 plus, and we do check that. My point is that the livelihood of my establishment is the alcohol. We don't have a kitchen, but we do provide food. There is food all the time at the establishment. And the 18-year-old, 18, 19, 20s, I am agree they should not be allowed, only on special occasion approved by your council. Other than that, I think that, making hours earlier, it will destroy my business because a lot of my patrons from Kenya and Brazilians and Puerto Rico, and they usually come to the establishment about 11:30. That's when they start actually coming into the club. So, yeah, that's all I have for now.
Yeah, I want to say that there is a group or an audience that comes to several establishments in that area starting at about 12 o'clock, 12 to 2. It's pretty much when a group sort of spikes, when we get more people coming in. And in terms of security, we have metal detectors. People get patted down. IDs are always checked. There are wristbands for anyone who's 21 and above. So we take every precaution. And as Ernesto just mentioned, there is a device that we've been using so that we can spot fake IDs much more quickly, something that we recently discovered. So there are a lot of precautions that we try and take. 18 plus is not something that I would like to see. We're okay with that, but we wanted to mention the things that we do.
Okay.
We do.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Mr. Solicitor, maybe now's the time to hear from the law department. I know we've all had meetings and been trying to work this out. We've all been trying to think of ways to get this, to keep people 21 and under out of the bars.
Absolutely. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just start by offering some background as to why we're here, and talk about the issues that we're trying to address, and then I'll provide just a summary of what our proposed regulations will do in this case, Mr. Chairman. As the Commission knows, the Lowell License Commission is tasked by statute with granting local alcohol licenses to establishments operating in the city. And under General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 12, alcohol licenses can be issued for specific types of businesses that serve alcohol on their premises, including restaurants, inn holders, private members-only clubs. That statute also allows for what's called a general on-premises license. And this is an alcohol license that's specifically for establishments like bars and nightclubs. Now, many decades ago, the License Commission adopted General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 12. They adopted restaurant licenses, they adopted inn holder licenses, and they adopted private members-only club licenses. However, the License Commission back then never adopted a general on-premises license. And so when we hear the phrase oft repeated in the Lowell Sun, there are no bars in Lowell, there are no bars in Lowell, that's the reason why. Because the License Commission up until now has not adopted a general on-premises license, and that's the license specifically tailored for bars. So what many establishments have done is they've applied for a general on-premises restaurant license. Now, I did ask last year Secretary Pires to review the License Commission's public records to determine why exactly it was that the License Commission, way back when, opted not to produce a general on-premises license. We were not able to provide an answer for that. I suspect the reason for that is because this statute was first enacted in the early 1930s. And our records just don't go all the way back then. Now, as I believe Councilor McDonough mentioned, and as I believe Councilor Mercier mentioned, the issue of a lack of a general on-premises has created some loopholes, and there have been loopholes that this commission has encountered. This commission has seen some establishments that have received on-premises restaurant licenses that have a functioning kitchen, and they've turned around years later and decided not to use their kitchen and operate as a bar. And under our current regulations, that is allowed. This commission has been confronted recently with a licensee that operates as a nightclub but is licensed as a restaurant. They recently said, since we're classified as a restaurant, we're going to let in 14-year-olds. And since restaurants can let in 14-year-olds, so can we. And this commission has expressed concern about that, and all of it has been confounded by the fact that although the License Commission enforces alcohol license violations, such as underage drinking or over-serving, that enforcement power is not absolute. Any decision to suspend or revoke an alcohol license is immediately appealable to the Alcoholic Beverages Control Commission, and appeal hearings before the commission can take years to decide. And so
If I could just interrupt you for 1 second.
Absolutely.
You have 2 matters on appeal at the present time, and one of those is on appeal. How long has it been waiting for a decision?
Almost 2 years, Mr. Chairman. And we have no indication that it's being resolved anytime soon by the ABCC. So faced with those issues, this commission has in the past issued and modified alcoholic beverages regulations that licensees in Lowell need to follow. And those regulations exist for public safety, to ensure transparency, and to minimize the risk of underage drinking and disorderly conduct. And this brings me to why we're here today, because as this commission knows, during the weekend of June 28th, it was brought to the Lowell Police Department's attention that a licensee advertised an event to 14 and up students from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. And this event has led to significant concerns for members of this commission. Our office was contacted individually by most of the members of this commission asking what could be done. And based on this, our office, in coordination with Captain Peasley and Secretary Pires, scheduled meetings on June 30th and July 1 with all of the commissioners in small, non-quorum groups to discuss what our legal options were. And to begin that process, our office reviewed regulations from other municipalities and gateway cities that have a vibrant nightlife: Lawrence, Worcester, Springfield, and Cambridge, to see what could be done. And during that time, during that time is where we were working on these regulations on July 14th. City Council met. 3 motions were voted on related to the separation of bars and restaurants by the commission. And I should note that although those motions were approved, I can represent that none of those motions were actually transmitted by the clerk's office to the law department or the license commission. Having said that, the commission does stay informed of all news relevant to the license commission business. So that brings me to the next day, July 15th, after we finished proposed regulations. We met with the individual members again in a non-quorum basis. And based on the reception we received from some of the members of the commission, we opted to place this matter on the agenda. We are now here, Mr. Chairman, for that public hearing, and we are seeking input from commissioners and members of the public as to proposed regulations and what, if any, changes can be made to best address the separation of bars and restaurants. And that also brings me to what our proposed regulations are. And before I talk about what we are proposing, I want to talk about what we are not proposing. We are not proposing modification of hours of operation as part of these regulations. We are not doing that. A licensee that is currently licensed to operate until 2 a.m. will still be allowed to operate until 2 a.m. Under our proposed regulations. I think where the issue is coming from, Mr. Chairman, is it was discussed at City Council on Tuesday whether we could have, what would be the feasibility of changing the hours of operation, what would be the pros and cons of that. That matter, again, has been referred to the city manager, and I understand that a report will be issued promptly on that issue. But that is not before the commission today. Hours of operation are not being affected. Here's what we're doing, and I think it can be best described in a 3-step process, Mr. Chairman. In step 1, we create a bar license. We will ask today that the License Commission vote on a resolution formally adopting a general on-premises license. This would bring us into alignment with other gateway cities and how they choose to regulate alcohol licenses. In step 2, we will say that if you are currently a restaurant license holder, if you want to stay as a restaurant license holder, you have to be a restaurant. You have to serve suitable food, not just peanuts, pretzels, and prepackaged snacks. If a licensee wants to be a restaurant, they must serve food at all operating hours. If a licensee wants to offer a smaller, more limited menu, say later at night, that is allowed. You are allowed to do it. As long as you are serving food, suitable food, at all operating hours up until last call, you are in compliance with these regulations. This restriction also does not apply to full-time function halls or public amusement venues, which are businesses whose primary business income is ticket sales. So establishments like Showcase Cinemas, Lowell Memorial Auditorium, the Songa Center, Taffeta, they are not impacted by this regulation. I want to emphasize the vast majority of restaurants in Lowell are already doing what we are proposing in these regulations. And maybe if they're operating late, they'll have a smaller menu. If those establishments are already doing that, there is no change as to how this will impact you. This is meant to address the select few establishments that are currently licensed as restaurants but are in fact operating as bars, and how to separate those and regulate those specific types of entities. One other point on this, Mr. Chairman, which is if the commission identifies an establishment that is currently a restaurant that the commission suspects is in fact operating at a bar, this regulation allows the commission to ask the licensee to present proof that at least 40% of the revenue is derived from food sales. And this specific regulation we propose, this comes from 2 separate gateway cities that have a regulation like this, one that set the threshold at 50%, the other that set the threshold at 40%. We opted to propose a more modest amount, given that, for many restaurants, alcohol sales can be a significant portion of their revenue. We didn't want to overly burden establishments that are restaurants and are doing the right thing. And finally, that brings me to step 3, which is that for establishments that are bar/nightclubs, and these are general on-premises and establishments that are assembly use nightclubs, A2Ns, on their certificate of occupancy, then you cannot admit anyone under 21 without seeking permission from the License Commission first. And to do that, we propose that the commission establish what's called a special 18 to 20 event permit. And under our current draft, the commission could award such licenses per event, similar to a one-day license. And the licensee would have to apply for that license. They would have to present and describe what steps they will take to ensure under 21 are not served with alcohol and that it's safe and they're providing adequate security. And the commissioners would then have discretion to either grant that license or deny that license. If the commissioners feel that they have an establishment that has been able to do it responsibly, that has been able to have under 21 events successfully without interactions with Captain Peasley or the Lowell Police Department, then the commission has discretion to grant a longer license for, say, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. It's left to the commission's discretion. I want to emphasize, members of the commission, every regulation that we are proposing tonight comes either directly from a gateway city that opts to regulate licenses, or it's an amalgamation of multiple gateway cities and what they're doing. We are not trying to make it unduly burdensome for members of the business community that are trying to succeed, that are trying to have successful bars. Our goal is to try and ensure that there is a separation of bars and restaurants so the License Commission can regulate those establishments appropriately. And we welcome any input the members of the commission have or the members of the public have. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Council. Commissioners, anyone wishing to speak? Yeah.
I have a couple things. One is that I'm appalled that we're 2 years out on the hearing by the ABCC. What is our path to agitate them to help us do our job?
So there's nothing we can do to make the ABCC move any faster. The ABCC is quote unquote the judge in the case. And just like I'm a litigator, that's what I do full time with the law department, just like with the case, I've got to wait for the judge to issue a ruling. And it's important that we not agitate the judge or infuriate the judge by saying, can you speed things along? So we're waiting for an outcome. And I recognize it is frustrating for the members of the commission. I will note, as I've noted in prior violation hearings, the commission does have the power to modify hours of operation for a licensee that violates the rules. We have asked for that request sparingly when we have done that. We have only done it for establishments that we believe are repeat violators, that we believe suspensions have not provided a sufficient enough answer. And when that happens, we do ask for modification of hours of operation. And this commission, again, it's a pro-business license commission, wants to ensure that establishments are able to operate but also not be unduly punished, but also make sure the public's protected, has been sparing when utilizing this specific tool.
Does this commission have the right to appeal to our elected legislators in the general court to examine this issue?
Well,
or is that beyond our...
I think that's beyond our realm, Commissioner Krieger. I think, unfortunately, we have to wait and see what the outcome is from the ABCC. And, backlogs are policy-related issues, and certainly there are state agencies that have backlogs. A lot of what I do in my practice, Commissioner Krieger, is employment discrimination cases, and the Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination notoriously has a very lengthy backlog that it's been trying to address. So this is an issue we've been dealing with, and I recognize the frustration.
Isn't there some expression, justice delayed is justice denied? Okay. My other point is that my understanding has always been that if you're consuming alcohol, you should be eating. You should have food in your stomach. Otherwise, the alcohol becomes much more potent than it otherwise might be. So, should we not be requiring all establishments, even those that are bars, to have some sort of food available for the patrons?
Okay, Commissioner Mercy.
So on and I know we've talked about this a lot. So you're showing on step one that we can adopt the regulation. Would step one be to approve the license where we break it up, where you're either a restaurant and a bar or you're just a bar? Would that be the very first thing
So
the board would do?
So it's up to the commission what it could do. It can take it in whatever order it chooses. My recommendation is that the commission votes today to establish a general on-premises license. We have in our memorandum what the resolution would look like. The commission can vote today on that resolution and establish a bar license.
Okay, and then after doing that, we can look at where if they decide that they're just, so we're just establishing that people can get that license, and they're just running as a bar.
Right.
Then we can revisit as far as what we consider to be a food restaurant, which
Right,
you
and-
said the 40%.
And that's on pages 2 and 3 of our memorandum, is the description of the regulations specifically for restaurants. I would advise that would be the second step.
Right, but that's one thing where I have a question about, where we would, for as long as they're serving booze, the kitchen should be open. That is like, I think it was somebody from the Worthen was saying they get their kitchen open, but then they close it at like 9 o'clock. But then there's nobody under 21 allowed in there after 9. I guess it's, I'm just confused with the fact that if you're gonna be open till 2 o'clock, you gotta keep your kitchen open till 2 o'clock. Where there are some criterias out there with the restaurant where they're closed down at 10, but like she said, and I think she's doing it right, well then, if you're under 21 when the kitchen's closed, you gotta get out. So I'm just trying to think if there's, this seems cut and dry. You're open for 12 hours a day, you gotta have a kitchen open for 12 hours, and
Mr. Chairman, actually, Secretary Pires has his hand raised. I think he has.
Penny actually clarified later and said her kitchen doesn't completely close at 9.
oh, it doesn't.
Well, that's what we want in that the menu is reduced.
Right.
But in all bars, it can
Yeah.
be reduced, but after, you know.
So you won't have a full-blown menu at
Right.
1 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning?
And that's allowed under our regulations.
Yeah.
If you have a more comprehensive menu in the morning and the afternoon, and then you want to reduce it down to, say, like, cheeseburger and french fries in the late evening hours, that is allowed. You are absolutely allowed to do it as long as the kitchen is open and you are serving food during your operating hours. You get to stay a restaurant.
Okay. Alrighty. So that would be, well, step 1 would be that.
So I tried to in my speech, make it a little bit clearer, but that would be one of the steps you could do. So in step 1, it's up, whatever order you want to do, but step 1, you could impose the restrictions on the restaurants. Step 2, you establish the bar license. Step 3, you say, these are the restrictions for bars and nightclubs.
Anybody wish to say anything? I have a couple of concerns about just in the, say, 40% of your revenue is coming from food. I have some concerns that may be just a little bit high for the city of Lowell. And I did perhaps make a motion, and I'm not doing it right at the moment, that we reduce that to, say, 30% or 35%, something. It's just 40% hit me as, it's a lot. And I know that you pointed out in one of our meetings that one city goes 50%. That's a lot of food, but I think they have a little bit different. They are a gateway city, Worcester, but they've got the casino, they've got a couple of things there, don't they? Larger entertainment venues?
Springfield has the casino, not Worcester.
I'm sorry?
The casino's in Springfield, not Worcester.
Springfield, oh, okay. I'm not very good at gambling, I guess, but, okay.
Well, if I could just piggyback on that, if we did it, let's say we did it for 30%, there's nothing saying that we can't change that later on, right?
Absolutely not, Commissioner Mercier. If it's the will of the body, you could vote today to set 30%, and if the commission feels later that's not quite the right threshold, it can go higher. It could vote 40 today and say that's too onerous on the restaurants. Maybe you go lower. So this is a starting place, Commissioner Mercier, members of the commission, because right now we don't have regulations. We don't have a separation between bars and restaurants.
Right.
And so we're trying to, as a starting process, set some limits, some limitations, and some clear standards for both.
I have one other area that I addressed with you earlier that I had a concern about granting 18 to 21 event permits may be granted on a per-event basis for the first 10. This is a bar that's gonna have an under 21. I think my idea is we're trying to prevent under 21s from being in the bars. So when you have, that they can apply for numbers of, it seems like the way this is written, every weekend would be a special, could be a special event. And I have concerns about that. I would want special events to be issued only when it's a special event. As I said to you, if the Rolling Stones were gonna do their last performance in a bar in Lowell, I'd grant a special permit, but I don't want special permits being a common, everyday occurrence.
Pretty sure the 18-year-olds won't be there, but.
You're right, they don't know who the Rolling Stones are, but anyway.
Right.
I would like to see that deleted from the proposal. And those are the only two things that I would see as something that I would
If I could
amend a bit.
If I could add to that, Mr. Chairman, just briefly, and I think those are fair points, and if it's the will of the body, I'm happy to make whatever changes the commission feels are appropriate. And I just want to explain that when we were drafting this proposed regulation, when it comes to the special 18 to 20 event,
Yep.
we've seen probably about 3 different versions of what they've tried to do. We've seen some versions where every single time an establishment wants to have under 21 at a bar, they have to come to the License Commission for permission. And that's one option that the commission certainly has if it wants to exercise significant control over it. We've seen others that are a little more liberal and flexible, which say if you want to apply you get a license to operate and sell under 21 for 6 months or up to a year. And what we tried to do in this specific proposal is to give the commission flexibility. So the commission has the power to grant the license. It has the power to deny the license. It also has the power to revoke it. And this is a special license that we are creating. So this is not something that, in my view, would be appealable to the ABCC. If you have a licensee that, say, exhibits good behavior and the commission grants say a 6-month special license to sell under 21, and the commission finds out they've gotten out of control and they're serving alcohol to under 21, the commission can revoke that license that it's received, and that licensee now can only serve for 21 and up.
I can appreciate that, but I want to have a little more control, is what I'm feeling. I want the commission to have a little more control over granting those licenses. And I'd be, as I said, reluctant to be issuing a lot of them because I don't want the mixing. And, but you're right. But we have, poor Steve Stuyvesant comes in for his one-day licenses. He's got he puts in, every few weeks he's got a couple, but he comes back for a special license to sell wine and at his art shows. And if he could do it, I don't see why a bar, if they're putting on a special promotion, something that's unique for the city, for the kids that would be appreciated by under 21, 18 to 21, they can make the effort to come in.
Right.
Someone from that bar can represent them here and tell us about it, and we grant it. I know John would have a little more work. He'd have to enter them. But I think maybe they're not going to want to do it. It might be a deterrent also that they don't want to have special events if they have to come see the board.
Yeah, and if I could
jump in.
please.
I agree with the chairman, and I think I had said that during one of the meetings, that if you want anything under 21, then come see us. I know you had mentioned something about a 3-month or a 6-month thing, and I personally wouldn't be in favor of that because it gets out of control. Then the way the chairman's talking, we have control over it from before it can get out of control. So that was sort of just, I'm in favor of that.
Captain?
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I just wanted to be on the record. I think the police department would be against issuing 6-month long-term permits to allow 18-year-olds and over to go into bars because it defeats the whole purpose of the hard work that we're all doing to separate it. So, there are some options. The city solicitor and I maybe could talk about maybe capping it at, say, 3 or 4 events a year, whatever it is you guys choose. But to issue a blanket 6-month, 6-week, 10-week, whatever term you guys would come up with for 18-plus events would defeat the whole purpose of this bar license.
Okay.
We just want to go on the record.
Commissioner Krieger?
Yeah, I agree with your proposal for 30%.
Okay.
I myself thought 40 might be a little high, but I hadn't gotten around to that. We also need to have some words in there about a reduced menu after some time. I would pick 10 o'clock. The third item is under the step 1, Article 218, says food to be eaten on site. I think we should add or takeout, because a lot of people buy takeout, and just to keep it clean, so that there's no weird issues.
Commissioners, anything you wish to say? I wonder if there'd be a motion at this point to send this, continue the public hearing to our next meeting with the law department to modify, as per our requests, the proposal and bring it back to us for a vote with these modifications that we've brought, but giving you a chance to put it in writing and for us to see it?
Absolutely. I'd be happy to do that, Mr. Chairman, if it's the will of the body.
Commissioner Mercia?
And this is just, I'm curious, the step 1 that we talked about creating that license, are we changing any rules and regulations in that step? It just establishes a license. Does it establish any criteria, or is that a different process?
Establishing a bar license specifically?
Yes.
Mr. Mercier? Yes. So I have them as separate steps because, the commission could take it as we decide collectively on what the restrictions are first for a bar license. But first, the commission has to establish a bar license. That's a necessary threshold step before we talk about what the restrictions are.
So is that something we could do tonight, is establish that type of license?
You could do that tonight, and that would probably give sufficient time for me to put together proposals on what the restrictions would be for the next available meeting, Mr. Chairman, because it would take time, A, to apply for this license, and B, if you're currently a restaurant and you want to switch to general on premises, it would take time to apply.
So the motion you're recommending we do is?
I recommend we vote tonight to establish a general on premises, and I would recommend that the commission at the next available meeting, we would continue the public hearing and we would vote on what would be the restrictions.
Commissioner Mercia, you want to?
I would make the motion that we at least establish it tonight. And as you said, finalize it at the next meeting with whatever restrictions we want to put in. So at least we're moving forward here. We're not. If the other commissioners.
Commissioner Underwood? Okay. Commissioner Krieger?
I do think if we're going to go with this, there should be some requirement that some food, bar snacks is okay with me, be available for anyone operating under this under this section of the rule. That prepackaged stuff is fine.
Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to be establishing that, but we're not giving out any licenses, John, until everything gets finalized in future meetings.
Of course, that is
correct. This will just establish it, and then, okay.
This is just establishing it so that
motion.
in the next meeting, we can enact regulations on that specific type of license.
All right. We'll do a roll call on this, please.
On the motion to establish the general on-premises license. Commission Chair Donahue.
Yes.
Commissioner Krieger.
No.
Commissioner Mercier.
Yes.
Commissioner Underwood.
Yes.
Commissioner Ong.
Yes.
4 in favor, 1 opposed. Motion carries.
The matter is referred back, and the hearing is continued to our next meeting for further discussion.
Motion second.
I'm sorry?
Is there a motion and a second?
Motion by Commissioner Ong, second by Commissioner Mercia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, counsel, for your advice on that. And then,
Now we're going to put you to work even more, though.
That's what they pay me for.
good night. Thank you. Good night. All right, what do we got? And now resuming.
Communication dated August 5th, 2026, from the Lowell Police Superintendent Gregory Hooden regarding allegations of misconduct charged against Picante Entertainment Group, Incorporated, doing business as Tesco Center, 70 to 72 Middlesex Street, Ernesto Lugo, licensed manager, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee. Allegations of misconduct occurred June 28th, 2026, regarding failure to comply with alcohol beverages regulations for licenses issued by the Lowell License Commission, specifically 2.04, request for a compliance hearing to be held at the September 3rd, 2026 License Commission meeting.
I'll make a motion to request a compliance hearing for September 3rd.
Second by Commissioner Underwood.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
And that was September 3rd.
9-3.
Yep.
Communication dated August 5th, 2026, from Lowell Police Superintendent Gregory Hooden regarding allegations of misconduct charged against Picante Entertainment Group, Incorporated, doing business as Tesco Center, 70 to 72 Middlesex Street, Ernesto Lugo, licensed manager, all alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee. Allegations of misconduct occurred July 26, 2026, regarding failure to comply with alcoholic beverages regulations for licenses issued by the Lowell License Commission, 1.06, 1.16, and 1.21. Request compliance hearing to be held at the September 3rd, 2026 License Commission meeting.
Moved by Commissioner Ong, second by Commissioner Underwood for the September 3rd hearing.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And a request for a hearing for an application by Tekio LLC, doing business as Bonchon Restaurant, Victor Vang, licensed manager, for alteration of premises of an all-alcoholic beverages restaurant license for premises at 1075 Westford Street. It is requested that legal notice be published in the local newspaper and public hearing to be held on September 3rd, 2026 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Krieger, seconded by Commissioner Mercia. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And finally, the communications to commission regarding incidents and events.
Note the communications to the commission and place on file.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Krieger?
Move adjournment.
Move adjournment by Commissioner Krieger, second by Commissioner Mercia. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's interest and hard work tonight.
These chairs are uncomfortable.
Yes, they are.
I think you've set a world record. Or at least a low record.
A low record, yeah. The longest, 809.